into A to Z Sports. Andrew Goldstein and Zach Rice here with you, and now joining us for Buy or Sell is Gabe McNeal from the Point Park men's basketball team. Gabe, thanks for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Doing real good.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Little poetic justice for you. By request, we have Kendrick Lamar featuring Drake, some poetic justice there. So we had that by request. We always let our guests pick the music when they come on. We've had I'm Different before. We've had Two Shots from Ace. So little poetic justice for you this time, and little poetic justice with some Buy or Sell right now. And Buy or Sell, Paul Martin silence some doubters with his goal on Sunday.
He might have silenced some doubters with the goal, but I don't think it's just the goal that has silenced the critics. He's played so well this season that he's really made up for last season. Obviously, it was a terrible year last year for him. Did not play well. The fans got on him. The media got on him. But he really worked hard over the summer, got back into shape, and he's doing some really good things now. So I don't think it was that goal alone that silenced the critics, but I think that's just part of what he's done so far.
See, the thing I worry about is Pittsburgh sports fans in general are a hazard to everybody's health. Let's just look at the fact that you have Paul Martin, who is having a good season, but I still think that fans are still remembering his previous 2 seasons' body of work. And unfortunately, once something like that reverts, where you have such a hockey season where everybody's pretty much stressing over it, or PMSing if you would, you have a guy such as Paul Martin. The minute he starts having a bad game, the fans are on him again. That's just Pittsburgh sports fans in general. We'll cut. How about Buy or Sell? Tomas Vokoun needs to see some more playing time. We kind of talked about this earlier.
I'll buy a little more. I think it's been pretty good. Stick to the 60-40 percentages if they can do that.
You just have a guy such as Marc-Andre Fleury, who played way too many times last year, and it really showed come playoff time. He was not ready for the mental grind of it, and clearly physically was not quite ready to handle that many games. That doesn't take away anything from him from the shutdown goaltender is. He's still definitely top 5 if you ask me, for sure. I think a lot of fans get on his case because he doesn't have the shutouts, or he doesn't have the pretty stats, but it doesn't matter. He gets the job done in the end, and that's what you want in a goaltender. And I really think that the best way for him to succeed is for Tomas Vokoun to see that 60-40 split, so that Fleury gets that time off to refuel and refresh. Kind of like a Gatorade. I don't know. I tried.
Great one.
Thanks. At least one person appreciated it. Buy or Sell? Clint Hurdle deserves his contract extension, and Neil Huntington not being extended means this might be his last season as GM.
Clint Hurdle has done a pretty good job, but he's seen 2 of the biggest collapses, not only in Pirates history, but in baseball history overall. Neil Huntington, he's in his, I think, 6th year now, along with Frank Cunley. The thing that gets me is if they're going to not extend Huntington, but extend Hurdle, it's kind of strange because Hurdle is Huntington's guy, Cunley's guy. So this regime, they're all together. If they're going to extend one, I don't know why they want to extend the other, or vice versa. Has Hurdle done well enough? Well, the Pirates have sure had 2 exciting seasons. Obviously, they've both ended in a disappointing way. However, I think let's see how this year goes, and if they want to, have talks to extend the contract, maybe they should have done it a little further into the season, or even after the season.
I just like that they're getting Hurdle taken care of now versus later in the season, because it serves as a distraction. Just get it done, get it over and done with. Neil Huntington, I mean, he's made some good trades, but for every good trade, he's made some bad trades. He has been doing great with bringing this minor league system back to some respectability, but I really don't know if it means he'll be leaving. I think that Clint Hurdle hasn't gotten. He's an April through August manager. He needs to work on that September and finishing. I think that he's a great manager. He brings the right message, but it's a matter of execution in September. What good is it if you're going to execute April through August if you can't finish the job and you miss out on a playoff berth? On the positive side for him, he's really brought the city to enjoy Pirates baseball again. That's really important. That's what you want. Just a quick Buy or Sell on the first few minutes of the Sunday's Penguins game against Buffalo were the most productive minutes of the season.
Oh, absolutely, by far.
Easy. Just getting a quick goal in the first minute in that power play, easy buy. Darrelle Revis from the Jets, Buy or Sell? He deserves answers to whether he'll be traded or not.
I don't know if he deserves them, but I think any professional player would like that. It's not. I'm not going to say it's the Jets' duty to be able to deliver answers to someone that they employ. But obviously, I think just doing the right thing would be giving him the answers he wants, even though I don't think that the Jets are obligated to.
Really, since the lockout happened in football, the Jets have not been the same football team. Proof's in the pudding. Look at the records. Look at the fact that they haven't been back in the playoffs, let alone the AFC Championship game. Darrelle Revis is still one of the best top-notch shutdown corners in the league, regardless of how you look at it. I think he deserves answers, as you said, any athlete does, but the Jets are going through a transition period where Rex Ryan should have been fired, and they just hired a new, they're still looking for that general manager, may have hired, I'm not quite sure, but just looking at it from that sense, I think they really need to worry about the front office, more of their front office mess before they answer player questions, just simply put, so they can give the player the answer he's looking for, not a wait, we'll see, like what you saw with Jose Reyes, where, hey, let's move, you can move in, you're a Miami Marlin for life, only to get traded 3 days later. Buy or sell, the Steelers and Manti Te'o come draft time makes sense.
Steelers and Manti Te'o. Boy, to me it doesn't make sense. The Steelers are this organization with the kind of feel that, you know, they're a classy organization, and I'm not saying that Manti Te'o is a bad person, but just they shouldn't get caught up in this circus. The Steelers never seem to get in the circus. They don't go after the Tebows of the world. They won't go after the Revises of the world. They're not going to have a coach like Rex Ryan. I just think the Steelers need to maintain their identity. Part of Steelers football is not only that tough running the ball type thing that they've always done, but it's also having a world-class organization that doesn't get caught up in the crazy media circus. And I just don't think that it would be a good idea for the Steelers to change that and go after Manti Te'o, even though he would fit their needs at the middle linebacker position, but I just don't think he would be the best choice for the Steelers to look at.
See, that's exactly why I would buy it, because he's a need, and Larry Foots probably shouldn't be re-signed, even though he will be, because it's a need. I want to sell it, though, because the reason why I'm selling it, though, is only from a character standpoint, because although he had this whole thing that's really been going on, you're looking at a perspective that here, you just had Antonio Brown on ESPN's First Take today, and he said the Steelers just weren't together as a team in the locker room. It was really a mishmash. The team wasn't together. That's a really big revelation this early in the off-season. So if you're bringing a guy that has character issues such as Manti Te'o into that locker room, a locker room where Lamar Woodley was pretty much kicked where he's down, it's one of those cases. But you see the Steelers taking more and more chances in a guy like that, Adams at offensive tackle, for instance. But now to the main reason why people were listening. Buy or sell, let's just both buy it and move to our resident expert, Gabe McNeal, for why Point Park men, buy or sell. Will they defeat Cincinnati Christian? What does the Point Park basketball players say?
Yes, we will defeat Cincinnati Christian. You know, everybody sees it as long as everybody sees how good of a team we are once we're playing together. Like, once we're not on our individual aspect of the game, like, when everybody's sharing the ball, man, we look real good as a team. Like, communications, 50-50 ball, everybody just on the same page, man. We win a lot of games, and we look real good together.
How much does it help that you guys have beat Cincinnati Christian both times you faced them during the regular season? There's definitely that familiarity there.
It helps a lot, actually. You know, we know what they have, and we know they know we know what they expect out of them. We know what kind of defense we got to do. We know the game plan and what to go over. So we beat them twice already, so that's good. We already on edge, so we already know what they expect out of those guys. We know what we have to do to win.
Even though you've beaten them twice, both were semi-close. I guess the last game was a little bit closer than the first game. So you're confident that you can, even if it's another close game, you can come out on top the third time?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that we can beat them. Like, they're not going to be an easy team to beat, but I think the last game that we played, they stepped it up a lot more. We got a little, I think they only kept up with us the second game because we were a little sloppy that game. But I think our game plan going into this third game, first round of playoffs, I think we're going to do well.
Just what's the response? You guys were kind of searching for yourself when you were coming into Kentucky, more or less. Just what does it mean that you guys are finding yourself and you guys are clicking come playoff time?
Well, you know, we've had all season to get a feel for each other's game, and you know, we all know what we can do out there. We just, like I said, as long as we're bonding, we're communicating, we're on the same page, we can go a long way in this conference and in the playoffs. And our goal is to win the conference championship.
Do you think that because you have beaten them twice, you should be the higher seeded team, you should have gotten that home playoff game instead of you being the number 5 seed and they being the home team at number 4.
Well, it would have been nice to get that home playoff game, you know, so we could be here in front of our home crowd and everything. But, you know, it is what it is. We just got to get on the road and we have to take care of business.
Just what's the response? Obviously, there are a lot of it's a very senior-oriented team. Just what do you make of the winning, that kind of that motivation, win one for them, win one for Ace, win one for Babs, win one for just down the line?
As far as those guys, like even in the locker room and in practice and everything, I talk to those guys all the time. I always say to these guys, hey guys, last shot, hey, last go around, Babs, what you gonna do? TJ, what you gonna do? Ace, what you gonna do? Jimmy, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? This is your last game, last go around. You know, I just try to get those guys pumped up. I want those guys to end with the bang. I want this to be the most memorable experience of their lives.
I have a request for a question here. You gotta tell us about the hair, man.
Well, as far as the hair goes, you know, everybody likes to make fun of me. Hey, Fresh Prince, we see, you know. But you know, honestly, my dad was like, you know what, you should go with the box look. My dad actually persuaded me to get this, and you know, I said, you know, I'll do that. You know, I'll do that for my junior year, but eventually I'm gonna cut it for my senior year. But you know, I just wanted to go out with some style, you know, kind of do something different, give myself a little swag. So I said this was my gimmick for my junior year.
Yeah, I like it. It definitely separates you from the crowd.
And you get called Marlon Wayans even more apparently still, right? The Marlon Wayans comparison still.
Oh yeah, I get Marlon Wayans, I get who else? Will Smith, obviously. Actually, the Lake Erie game, everybody, the whole crowd decided they wanted to sing the Fresh Prince theme song. Yeah, I'm shooting a free throw, and everybody in the stand in West Philadelphia, born and raised at the playground. I spent most of my days. Everybody just went into it. It was just hilarious.
Have you ever experienced anything like that before?
Oh yeah. You know, every playing in big games and everything. You know, it's always going to be people in the crowd just yelling stuff out in the crowd. So. What
was Coach Rager's reaction? That might be even more important.
Me and Coach Rager laugh about this all the time. I even joke with him about it. Like me and Coach Rager got a similar haircut. I tell him he has a hot top fade. he likes it though. The guys enjoy it though.
All right, we are up against a break. The guys' game is Saturday at Cincy Christian. Just got moved to 2 p.m., so be sure to tune in. WPPJ will have the call on that, so definitely be sure to get on that as the guys hope to move on to IU Southeast for the semifinals. Gabe, thanks for coming on.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, we have our last normal segment of the show, This Day in Sports History, the usual stuff that ends the show here on A to Z Sports and WPPJ 670 AM.